Well, we can all cross this off the list of episodes we're never going to get. Viva Las Pegasus. There are two stories on why DHX or Hasbro might have wanted to stay away from spoofing this name. One, the obvious, and one not so obvious from a little get-together back in 2013. The first obvious being Las Vegas, the gambling capital of the world. Now, while cartoons have played with this theme before, and MLP has been creative with doing mature ideas, so they're suitable for all ages, I didn't have a lot of hopes that they were going to go anywhere near this one. The easy fix naturally focusing on the Vegas show scene, some very obvious spoofs, to some well-known Vegas talent. I'm a little bummed out we didn't get a cameo or even a guest role by Penn or Teller. Well, mostly Teller, the other guy never talks, but we did get a Vegas buffet. But that's enough with the references. Let's get to the juicy black eye of the fandom, because Lord knows that's what I'm good at. This clip comes from Bin's Toy Bin. For the full video, or videos, please follow the annotation or link in the description, talking about Las Pegasus Unicon.
Couldn't have predicted we'd watch this whole thing implode in front of our eyes on Sunday as the day progressed.
Yeah.
It was crazy. And we feel bad for voice talent and the writers and the musicians. Mm-hmm. Basically, the Las Pegasus Unicon
organizers walked away from.
Yeah, they left.
Yes.
They bailed, and pretty much
all the musicians and writers and actors were all left to pay all of their own bills that they were not expecting to have to pay, for a great thanks for coming to our show and talking to your fans. Here's money you owe to the hotel that you're staying at.
That must have royally sucked.
The media groups that worked on holding the last day together the best they could and to help out all of the VIPs the best they could, I think they did a great job. We both wish that they told us when they started asking for help for the con, and they said that the organizers
had overextended themselves.
Yes. When they had mentioned that the first time, it would have been great to know that the money that they were trying to raise were going to the voice actors and the musicians and all of the others that were paid to come there.
Now, obviously, it would be poor form to show the whole video. The Brony Convention scene almost died back in 2013, when organizers got in over their head. Here's some further words from former head of Everfree Network, Final Draft, on the whole nasty fiasco.
And then there's
there's an idea for a top 10, Jay. Top 10 failed Brony Conventions.
Dude.
We already know what number one is. What's the point?
No, when you get to number one, instead of saying number one LPU, you should say Plan J, or no, Plan H, or whatever.
Outer space.
No, anybody who looked at LPU's website before it went down, they had like 20 or so sponsor plans that you could buy into. Yeah, and they were all lettered. Anyway,
fun fact, I almost went to LPU. Would you know? Like, it was so strange to me when the first I heard of the disaster was when you guys posted that Titanic video to the EFN YouTube channel, and I was like, what the hell happened?
I don't know what you're all talking about. I loved LPU. I left on Saturday, but after that, I don't know what happened.
Didn't you? No, you.
I literally left on Saturday. I left Saturday during the afternoon.
Oh, that's right.
Before anything happened, I was like, it was an okay convention, and then I get home and all these videos are like, oh my god, what happened?
Oh, LPU. LPU was the biggest headache I've had in a long time. I mean, as in literally, I had a headache the whole time.
It looked like it. I remember watching you. It was you and Lee Tokar.
Everyone talks about that video, and I knew when I was making it that was going to be the thing everyone remembered. It was.
I remember it, but I remember it's like these guys are heroes. But I was like, but they looked so. You guys looked so oh man,
disheveled.
You were holding it was embarrassed, It's I can't believe we have to do this.
We were at a party at 1 a.m. the night before, and everybody thought things were running well, and the agents pulled us aside in a room and just broke the news. Guys, this convention has failed. They do not have any money. They can't even pay their venue. They don't have any money for the VAs. People are going to start getting kicked out of their hotel rooms. And this was at 1 a.m. So, imagine trying to go to bed knowing that, because I had a contract with LPU that, and several other media groups did too, that included a comped hotel. Well, what ends up happening? My card got charged $1,400 for the rooms for EFN out of nowhere. There were some musicians that were from out of town, whatever, that had just put down cards as incidentals, and the Riviera charged them and ended up overdrawing their accounts, and some people were stranded from Europe with no money to get home. It was a nightmare.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was like 1 a.m. So by the time you finally fall asleep after hearing all this, knowing you're going to have to wake up to hell, I think it was like 3, 4 in the morning. Then I had to get up at like 7 to make sure that everything was operating. And then I had to coordinate with Lee so that we could do that announcement video. And it's one of those things you never wanted to actually do as a live streamer. Like, I wasn't supposed to be live hosting the live stream, but I finally just said, okay, well, we got to do this. So I turned to Lee and I'm like, how are we going to go about this? So we talked about it and then, made that announcement video. Both of us had next to no sleep. And by that point, I had a raging headache. And
yeah. You guys looked like you wanted to be doing anything else but that.
I wanted to just say screw everything, go next door to the Wynn, and just gorge on the buffet or something.
Go to that buffet. Hey, fun fact: the Riviera.
For the win.
Fun fact about the Riviera, where the venue was hosted. It's not it no longer exists anymore. So.
Yeah, they tore it down.
Good. Yeah, tear down all the memories. All the memories are gone.
Thanks for the memories.
Only
It
left
never happened.
Only left is the Indian Brony burial ground underneath the
Indian Brony burial ground. Oh my god! No, like I imagine as that building came down, like a
graveyard of
puff,
pony dreams.
Yeah.
I just imagine like a puff of debris and vendor bucks came floating up into the area.
Oh my god!
I remember you probably know what an Encyclopedia Dramatica is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember they did an article on LPU, of course.
I love.
Resist.
Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, no, I read through it. It was hilarious. I mean, just some of the images and stuff.
You know what though? LPU was incredibly useful in that it set the bottom bar for this thing. like it told everyone what not to do.
Right.
Oh my
It
God.
basically you could when I'm not joking. The first time I met with the guys who were starting up what now is MLP MSP, including my co-chair Chase and the head of security Jared, and those guys are great, by the way. They're awesome. That's why I've worked with them for 3 years. The first time I met them, I said, so you want to start a Brony Convention? They're like, yeah, Minneapolis doesn't have one. We really should have one. And I said, let me tell you a story about LPU. This was the first part of the conversation of the first time I ever met them, and I told them every horror story from LPU, and I said, can you promise me none of this would happen? And they're like, yeah, this is all stupid crap that should never have occurred. And I'm like, I agree. And then we were able to go from there. And so it's nice because there's that fear of LPU grade failure. Events out there are trying harder.
They have motivation not to do that. Yeah.
So it did do that.
Well, the people who ran it were literally clowns. Literally clowns.
I know.
I thought that was great.
The other thing you got to remember too, though, is that I think that if LPU hadn't happened, it would have been some other convention. It would have been some other kind of event that would have flunked out. And anyway, I just remember that I did a live stream the Tuesday after the convention, because I was getting a flood of messages like, what happened? So Saber and I did a live stream. Saber was asking questions and I was answering them about what happened at LPU, just to try to explain what we knew. And right before the live stream started, and this is up on EFN, I imagine, Neil, you're the type who probably watched this thing.
I might have.
Yeah. Just before it aired, I got a call from Sandy's husband, Eddie, and he was like, Draft, Mike, he was like trying to appeal. He goes, I really have to ask you not to spread rumors. And I said, excuse me? Rumors? What kind of rumors might we be talking about? Where's the money, Eddie? I actually just said that to him. I'm like, where did the money from the charity auction or whatever go? And they figured that part out later, but I'm like, where did all the money from your sponsor dinner go?
Where's you do it like Jesse from Breaking Bad? Bitch, where's my money?
No,
where's my money?
Well, it wasn't my money, so I wasn't saying that. But like I was saying, and he's like, well, Draft, we're trying to figure things out. I really have to ask you, please don't spread rumors. I said, look, I'm going on air, and at the time it was like half an hour beforehand. I said, I'm going on air in half an hour. You have half an hour to make a comprehensive post online to explain what the hell happened before I go on air and tell exactly what I know. And I'm like, and I'm gonna go on air either way. So if you want to tell your side of the story, now's your chance. And he goes, I said, Eddie, I don't have time to talk right now. I gotta get ready for my interview, and I hung up on him. I'm like, I don't have time for you. This community has to move. This community has to move on. And that was the last time I ever heard from any of them. I don't know what the hell they're up to now.
Right.
I'm going to say, the rumors they went to Mexico. Is that is that true? Who knows at this point?
I don't know. I really don't.
Interesting. Because at that point, all you cared about was trying to get the VAs compensated and stuff.
Well,
right?
by that point, we had done it. Like when I was back in Minneapolis at that point, and the fans raised like $15,000,
right?
Flew all the VAs back. It was incredible. I mean, this fandom is incredible.
Yeah.
That
I saw a tweet from M.A. Larson recently that said that apparently since its inception, the fandom has raised a total of $1 million for charity.
I believe it entirely.
Yeah. Wouldn't be surprised at all.
The what was it? Well, during the convention though, I mean, I was coordinating and I was not the only one. This was one of those weird times where everybody who generally hated each other was working together because we all knew this it could spell the end of Brony Conventions. So myself and Equestria Daily and PVL and Bronyville and every other group out there, Derpy Hooves News at the time, we were all working together on it. So when the account was finally finished, it was about $15,000 we raised in a matter of about 12 hours, which is incredible. And Sandy got a wind of that. And so she came up to me with the hotel manager on the Sunday afternoon and said, Draft, I heard that you guys raised this money. We really could use some help paying the bill for the hotel. I looked at her and I'm like, excuse me? And the hotel manager had the audacity to turn to me and go, we have an $18,000 bill that hasn't been paid. And I looked at her, I'm like, that's none of my concern. This is not your money, nor it's the convention's. This is money going towards the voice actors, and I don't have time for this, and I just walked away. Just the sheer audacity of that.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember hearing about that.
That's all right. You can just picture, where's that Riviera hotel manager? What's his job these days? Not the Riviera hotel manager anymore.
Maybe she's over at the Wynn working the buffet. I don't know.
Yeah.
I remember looking it up, and apparently, Nevada has a reputation as having the shadiest business practices of any state.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Not surprised.
They pulled some stunts. Again, they charged a lot of people on their incidental cards for the entire room cost, and I think the worst thing that happened that I remember is there was this guy Carlos who was from Mexico City. He was 17. He had just graduated high school down there, and his parents sent him to LPU as a reward trip. And they bought one of the $1,500 sponsor packages, which came with $100 in vendor bucks, like a T-shirt, a comped room suite, access to the VIP upstairs lounge, which is some garbage because if anybody, I know Holler was up there at one point. I mean, it's nothing that amazing. And then they had, I think he had what else? Some autograph vouchers, that sort of thing. As soon as the convention collapsed, his hotel room got charged to his card because they had never paid for it. So basically, he ended up paying for his hotel room twice. All of his vendor bucks were suddenly worthless. It was terrible. But lucky for him, the Kriebers were there and they took him out to dinner and hung out with him for a bit. So I mean, there was some good from it. But I think one of the saddest moments for me was when Ohad.
Ohad was there. Huh?
Ohad was there and he came up to me. He goes, Draft, in his voice. He's like, Draft, can you tell me what's going on with the hotel rooms? I told a lot of things, and he did not know the convention had failed. I had to sit him down. I said, Ohad, take a seat. Actually sat him down. I'm like, this convention failed, and they are going to charge you for your room. And he goes, no, I paid.
No,
but Draft. No, he's like, but I paid for my package, and I said that doesn't matter to this hotel because they never got paid. And it was the worst conversation because I knew it wasn't my fault, but I felt like I was the doctor saying, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We're gonna
I'm
put
sorry.
your dog down.
Baby LPU died, in stillborn, right? It's terrible, but it was what it was. LPU was a low point for the fandom. It's why everybody who was there talks about it incessantly. I really do think if anybody deserves medals, I think anybody who attended and survived that con deserves a medal for that.
Did they ever make those T-shirts? I survived.
And all I got was this crappy T-shirt.
Yep, they did make those.
Oh, they did.
And then what was it? It was.
Do you have any? Are there any juicy tidbits you could share about the staff reactions? Were they any of them really pissed privately, or?
I think a lot of them were worried, especially when they found out that they were going to have to somehow fly themselves home. Early on they didn't know how they were going to. their agents were there. Here's the stupidest thing this is why I don't know how much of this was planned and how much of this was Sandy's idiocy. They flew the agents out there. So the agents were at the convention. So
why would they even? Wow.
Well, the agents wanted to be there because it's Vegas. It's a vacation location.
Right.
But they were there, and so all of the voice actors didn't have to make a bunch of calls home to talk about the situation. The agents were right in the thick of it. And I mean, I don't understand why they would try to get them out there if they were going to try and scam. But at the same rate, where's that money?
Spare no expense, I guess, is what
the con failed because they brought out 25 people. They brought 25 special guests. Even BronyCon now, who they're the biggest event. I think the most they've ever brought out was like 10, and that makes sense because.
And I've even had a chance to talk to Sethisto at EQD on the matter.
I remember hearing back. I've only heard it from one source. How much aware are you of what happened at Las Pegasus?
I was in the middle of it. Sort of interesting times, to say the least. Do you want the full story?
Yeah, just real static. Right when he started on that, I was like, "That's voting."
Yeah, he's trying to hide the truth.
No, I get the truth. It was a clusterfuck.
Oh,
can I cuss on this? I forgot if you said yes or you're not.
Oh, the audio's cleared up. Do you know what exactly went wrong though? Did it just first time con staff or what?
All right, yeah, it was a mix of that. There was a lot of people that thought it was a big scam, but I generally don't think it was a scam. I think they just were way in over their heads. They all thought Vegas was just going to be like the ultimate pony convention location because it's really cheap to fly to Vegas. Like it was like $50 for a ticket for me, and the hotels are $30 a night or something crazy compared to like $200 from other conventions. So they invited every show staff they could get their hands on, and I think they expected a lot more people to come out, and they just didn't. People just didn't come. It was crazy. 1,700 people went. I think it was the final count, and they were expecting 3,000, 4,000.
Yeah, I heard about a little bit from Jay Holler. Did you ever pick up the shirt? I survived Las Pegasus, and all I got was this crappy shirt.
No, I don't have anything left over from Las Vegas this Unicon, unfortunately. Not even those fake dollars they were giving out. No, I mean we were hanging in the hotel at night, and Dusty Cat had a party going on, so we all went up to that, and it was with all the voice actors and their agents and stuff. And midway through the party, they pull us in a back room, and they're like, "Hey guys, this is bad. Something's going on at this convention. We have no idea where the heads are. Nobody's getting paid. Hasbro's breathing down our neck to make sure everything goes smoothly." Because back then, Hasbro wasn't. They weren't really comfortable with bronies, and they definitely weren't comfortable with their show staff hanging out with bronies. So the agents were really freaking out that this was going to ruin Hasbro's view on the fandom and stop them from letting their voice actors go to conventions, which is a lot of money for those agents, obviously. So that's what started the whole Save Unicon thing.
Some shaky things happened. I actually believe that this was just a coincidence in the podcast, so don't pay any mind to that part. So as you can see, Unicon was the biggest disaster associated with the actual show staff, and one might actually see why DHX or Hasbro might have gone out of their way not to go anywhere near Las Vegas on the show. Back on topic, there's a wonderful use of Fluttershy using her talents with the animals, Applejack keeping her grudge against Flim and Flam, and Flim and Flam not needlessly being reformed. They went into the episode dicks, and they're leaving as dicks. And that's the way it should be. Actually, come to think of it, the only reformation I want to see out of Flim and Flam is a con job. Also, the star of the show is Gladmane. I've had some people suggest that this is an Elvis Presley knockoff, but I can't help but feel that this is a throwback to something else. If anyone else is a bit more knowledgeable about Las Vegas, this could in fact be a spoof on some famous casino owner. I looked up Jack Binion from Horseshoes Casino, but nothing seemed similar. I kind of wonder if a writer on the show staff was taking a shot at someone in Vegas after maybe making a costly vacational trip there. Also, a villain who puts his underlings off against one another to stay ahead of everyone. Congratulations, you just saw FNGR as the head protagonist of an episode, right down to getting busted bragging about it. It looked amazing, I had a great time, and some things did look weird, but hey, that's Vegas, baby. So till next time, what happens in Brony stays in Brony.